Hello, my name is JL Davis. I'm a fundraising outreach specialist here at Double Good, and welcome to Double Good's first webinar series, Fundraising 101 and Beyond. Today, I'll be talking you through how the Double Good app works and what our fundraisers look like. By the end of today, you'll know if Double Good is a good fit. You'll see exactly how the app works and what it has to offer, and you'll have the option to create your own fundraiser live, which I definitely recommend. It's a great way to see how the app functions, the options that you have within it, things like that. So I'm going to share a quick anonymous poll, and I would love for you to share your answers. This is just going to pop up on the screen. So feel free to share what your biggest challenge to fundraising is right now. Is it low participation? Is it too much admin work? Is it too much handling money? Or are you just looking to try something new? And I'll give it a few moments for those answers to come in. Okay, and I'm seeing that handling money is a popular answer, which I'd like to say I work with people who fundraise every day, and that is definitely something that can make the process exhausting. It's very taxing, and it's something that you don't want to mess up, definitely. So thank you for sharing. I'd also love for you to think about what challenges have you faced while fundraising? Is it keeping the fundraiser on people's radar? Do they know when it starts, when it ends, things like that? Is it distributing product? If any of that feels overwhelming or exhausting, again, as I mentioned, you're not alone. We know that with traditional product-based fundraising, you have to handle money on your own, sort through an inventory, and a lot of it is limited to your in-person community, which is fantastic a lot of the times, but it limits your ability to fundraise outside of that in-person group. Sorting and distribution is another big part of traditional product-based fundraising. And then there's the manual reconciliation of funds. You have to figure out who brought in what money, who was able to achieve the goal, who wasn't, and that can get confusing. Here at Double Good, we understand how exhausting fundraising can be, and that's why we've tried to streamline the process as much as possible. So when you fundraise with us, you don't have to handle any money or product on your end. We take care of all of that. Our platform is also completely digital, which means that you can fundraise within your local community and you can also expand outside of that. So if you have an aunt across the country that you know would love to participate and contribute, but you don't want to have to worry about how you're going to ship it to her, send her the link to your store and we'll make sure she gets her order and you get to keep 50% of the money that she spends. We also offer automated tracking and reporting in our app. So if you're the organizer, you will have the ability to download a CSV file at the end of your fundraiser that has all of the data associated with your event. There are 4 reasons why people really love fundraising with Double Good. The first is that the results are proven. When you fundraise with us, you keep 50% of the money that you raise, and that half split is pretty significant compared to some other product-based fundraising companies out there. It's also meant to be as easy and efficient as possible. We ship directly to supporters. You don't have to handle any inventory on your own. And the most you'll have to do with handling money is choosing your payout method. In the app, you'll have an option between a check payout method or a direct deposit. Something to keep in mind, just as far as timelines, is that direct deposits can take up to 2 weeks, while checks can take up to 4. At the end of the day, it's a very high quality product as well. I've toured the factory and it is remarkable how much product they're able to get out of such a small space. Double Good is really committed to the small batch high quality process. These are some figures that I think really make Double Good stand out. So 1,500 is the average amount raised per fundraiser. Each year, we support about 75,000 causes, and last year in 2025, we helped those causes raise over $150 million nationwide. So we're super proud of those numbers, and we would love to count your event in our numbers for next year. Now to the fun part. Let's create your fundraiser. This is a great opportunity to see how the app works, explore the features, get a get a sense for how easy it is to set up your event. And there's no commitment. There's no penalty if you decide not to run this fundraiser. This is just a really great way to get a feel for what the process is like. So if you're interested in following along, please take a moment to scan that QR code. And I'm going to leave that up for a bit. When you scan it, you'll be taken to the App Store or Google Play, and you'll download the app as you're prompted to. When you download it, you'll be prompted to register as well, and that'll just look like inputting your phone number, your email, and maybe a registration code that's sent there. So I'll give that a few more moments just so everyone can get settled, downloaded, and registered. Okay, awesome. So let's move forward. And the first thing that we're going to do is walk through how to set up your fundraising event. So when you begin, you'll see this page. And to start, we're going to click Organize an Event right down here at the bottom. Once we're here, we're going to see this list, which just shows us the different steps that we're going to take to make sure that we have an activated fundraiser. Once we get to this page, we'll click Schedule an Event. And this is going to take us to a calendar page. So you'll see that you have the option to choose your start and end date for your fundraiser, as well as the times. Then we'll input some information about our organization, team details, agree to the terms and conditions, and our event will be scheduled. So let's go through that now. First, we're going to click those start dates that I initially motioned at. And once we do that, we're going to pull up this calendar. So here at Double Good, we find that the most successful fundraisers begin on a Monday or Tuesday and run through the weekday. So I'm going to use April 6th through 10th as an example, then click Save. After that, our end date will immediately populate, and we're going to go to organization down here. I'm using a high school as an example, so education and academics, then organization search. Here we're going to type the name of our organization, the name of the high school in this example, and please type the whole name. It may not populate immediately. You may see it, the more of the name that you type out. If for some reason your organization doesn't populate, you'll have the option to enter it manually. And in that case, we'll just ask for a bit more information to get it all registered. Once you've chosen your organization, you're going to click confirm at the bottom, and then we'll enter team details. This is just going to be something that describes your fundraising group the best. So if it's school-wide, a mascot works great. If it's a grade level, teacher's name, grade name works perfectly fine as well. After that's all written out, we're going to go to team info down here next. This is going to take us to a drop-down menu that's scrollable. So if you don't see an option that best fits your school here, keep scrolling and it should pop up. High school is right here, so we don't have to scroll down. But for example, I know middle school is lower on that list. Next, we're going to enter the zip code, and then we will be done. Finally, we're going to agree to the terms and conditions down here, and then we're going to schedule an event. And congratulations, that is the first step of getting your fundraiser set up. So if you're following along, great work. That is the first step. Again, does not take a lot of time, meant to be as easy as possible. After that, you're going to see this page pop up. And this page has all of the important information about your fundraiser. It has your 6-digit event code, as well as the start date and time and the end date and time. From here, we're going to click View My Checklist. This is going to bring up a list of things that you still have left to do to make sure that your fundraiser is up, running, and generating money for you. So when we click that list, what we're going to see is that we've already done the first part, which is creating a fundraising event. Next, we're going to invite our team to fundraise. So we'll click this tab here, and what will come up is another page that here we're going to click the button, invite your team. And next, you'll share about how many sellers you think are going to join. It doesn't have to be an exact number, an estimate is totally fine. Next, click invite your team again. And this blurb is going to be super important for sharing information. When you click invite your team this time, it's going to show a variety of options for how you can share this blurb, but that link is going to take your sellers to a page where they'll see that 6-digit event code and they'll be able to set up their pop-up shop. That's super important so you have those seller stores set up and you can start making popcorn sales. And that is it. That's the process of setting up the fundraiser and inviting your team. Very straightforward. And you can share this in whatever method works best, whether that's through text message, email, whatever is the best way for you to communicate with your group. So I'll take a moment to pause before we move on to the next part and just see if any questions are coming up. If they are, please feel free to share those. Okay. If there are no questions, I'm going to move on to the seller view, which is the pop-up shop. Pardon? Just trying to, there we go. So now we're going to create the pop-up shop. This is going to be the view that your sellers will see as they're joining the event. I strongly recommend that every organizer creates a pop-up shop as well. It's a great way to see what the process is like, walk your sellers through it if they have any questions during the process, things like that. So what we'll do here is click Create a Pop-up Store. And once we click that, we'll be taken to this page. The steps to create the pop-up store are to share a photo, display name, set a fundraising goal, and then decide whether or not you want your store to be featured. I'll discuss that more later. Then you'll agree to the terms and conditions and create the pop-up store. The first step is adding a photo, and it's important to note that the pop-up store can't be created without one. So if you want to input a filler one for right now, that's totally fine. Typically, with stores that are actively selling, we recommend sharing a photo of yourself or something related to what you're fundraising for. The display name here is just the name that you're going to show on the leaderboard, how people will recognize your shop, things like that. The fundraising goal is automatically set at 500, but can be raised higher. It can also be set lower, but it's important to note that it can't be set any lower than $200. This Feature My Store toggle has to do with a carousel of live pop-up shops that we have on our website. And that's a great way for people to see what a live pop-up shop looks like and to contribute if they'd like to. If you don't want to be featured in that, totally fine. You would just toggle that option off. And once you've made all of those decisions, you're going to agree to the terms and conditions down here and then click Create My Pop-Up Store. And then once that's all loaded, we'll be taken to the next page. And that's going to give an option to personalize our store even further. So we're going to go to Why Are You Raising Funds down here. And we're going to input a brief blurb about what we're fundraising for and where the money is going. We find that stores that have this, along with a photo of what they're fundraising for, go much further in the sales that they make. They tend to raise more money just because they're more personalized. So this is a great way to ensure that you're really setting yourself up for success. It doesn't have to be very long. There's a character limit, as you can see down here. And once you've typed it out, if you'd like it to, be a little more engaging, have some emojis or some fun language, you can click this Get Inspiration tab on the screen as well. That'll use an AI to, add some fun language, things like that. Once you click Save at the top, you'll be back at this page. And then the final step will just be to share your shop link. So once you click Share My Link, you'll be taken to this page. This is going to show you all of the different ways that you can share a link to your pop-up shop. Of course, through text, copy and pasting. You can also share directly to your contacts, and you can create a QR code for your pop-up shop. Down here, you'll see that there are social media templates as well. So if you'd like to upload to social media, we have a variety of pre-made templates that you can utilize for that. And that's the pop-up shop experience. Again, this is what your sellers are going to be seeing. Extremely useful if the organizer knows what this looks like as well. And that's it. That is the whole process. It's one app, one link per seller, no money handling, and no product sorting on your end, and no deliveries that you have to make. If you created your event, you've already taken the first step, so take a moment to congratulate yourself. You now have a scheduled fundraiser. You have a pop-up store, so you understand how that functions and works, and you have a link that's ready to share with your supporters. We've noticed that there are a few things that successful fundraising groups do differently. The first is that they set a clear fundraising goal. If you haven't already, I encourage you to sit down and figure out the exact dollar amount you need to make an impact in your community. This helps you not only with understanding the goal that you need to reach, but also your sellers and understanding what their individual goals should be and how close or how far they are from it. Another thing that successful fundraisers do is they offer incentives to motivate participation. Depending on the group that you're working with, incentives are integral to driving that excitement and success and making sure that you see the participation that you want. It can take a variety of different forms. It can be low to no cost. You can invest in an incentives budget if you'd like, but doing something that motivates the group is going to pay off in dividends. Successful fundraisers also utilize consistent communication early on in the process. You want people to know when your fundraiser starts so they know how to plan accordingly in supporting you. You also want them to know when it ends so they know how long they have to support you. All of these things are super important so that people know when they can contribute to your fundraiser, so that your sellers know how long they should be pushing this fundraiser, things like that. And finally, the last thing that successful fundraisers utilize is staying focused during the event. You this fundraiser is pretty short. It's going to last a couple days, and it might feel like it goes by very quickly, but during that time, you're going to be super engaged with your community, making sure that they know where they are in relation to their goal and things like that. So, looking at next steps, now you want to spread the word about your fundraiser. It's important to make sure that everyone is set up at least 1 week in advance with a pop-up store. Typically, pop-up stores that are set up 1 week in advance go a long way in making more sales just because they're not rushed or last minute. And then once you have all of that, you're going to start selling.